Activation party.
Okay, guys, what's going on? This is Steven of Zygote, and I am here with Elise and Dmitri from Slope114, the amazing live house outfit out of San Francisco Bay Area. We got a ton of stuff to talk about today with these guys, but first of all, welcome you guys. Welcome to the Architects and Heroes podcast slash live stream.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So first question for you guys is how, I don't know. I know I sent you guys a list of questions, but I want to, might be a little bit backwards. Because I think we were just talking about this offline before we became live. How has it been for the pandemic? How is it going for you guys? How are you spending your time?
We're creating a lot of music. That's the bottom line. We kind of set a goal for ourselves every week to at least create a new live stream set or a new song, record a new song every week, as long as this goes on. We've always been in the studio a lot anyway, so it's easy for us to, take this time and really hunker down and be creative.
Great excuse to just be in the studio and
not go anywhere.
Yeah, not go anywhere.
People stop. Yeah, you can stop turning down invites to parties because you're like, I'm in the lab. I'm in the lab for real for the next 3 months. So you guys give me a holler when I don't have to disinfect shit to walk out my door.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's been it's really funny though, and I've heard a couple of different takes on this, but as artists that primarily play around a lot and gig around a lot, and you guys obviously have a good back catalog of music too, but how has this impacted your ability to just earn money as an artist?
We turned down all our gigs. I mean, all our gigs for the year got canceled. We were booked up. We had a European tour booked. It was going to be our best tour ever. We had gig in Ibiza. It got all canceled.
Man.
We're supposed to be there next month.
Yeah, June. A lot of gigs canceled. We're trying to find ways to, I guess, compensate for that by releasing things digitally, and
we need to build our online catalog anyway.
Do you can you guys talk a little bit about the digital releases? Because I have your discography here, and I think what I have is specifically just the vinyl stuff. So, and I've also got your Bandcamp pulled up here, but it's been really cool to see you guys use digital platforms to further your own careers. It's been amazing to watch, actually, to see kind of like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going directly to our people, and we're making that happen. And I'm sorry for the gigs. I mean, I can imagine that takes a huge chunk out of it, but to have the time to work on more digital releases and kind of grow your catalog and grow your mind. See what I did there? But to really build that catalog, man. Can you guys talk a little bit maybe about what you're currently working on and where people can find your stuff?
We're currently releasing direct to Bandcamp, and we just signed up with TrackSource, so we're going to be releasing to TrackSource as well, like every month. We just did 2 releases to Bandcamp the last 2 months, and we kind of made a plan that this year will be our year to finally go digital and to build a digital catalog. So when we go play out of town gigs and people go home and search us after the gig, they can find a bunch of music that they can easily listen to. We haven't had that before. We've been strictly vinyl, and it's been a bit of a barrier in that way.
Was it a conscious decision to stick with vinyl?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of rode out the whole industry collapse, and vinyl was just a way that we found to make money, that's just how it turned out. I mean, there's money in it. You can make money selling vinyl. I don't know about now that we're on lockdown and it's all difficult, but we did Kickstarters. We did 4 successful Kickstarters so far, and we currently have a record being pressed at Capsule Labs, and that will be done. I don't know when because of the whole lockdown, but as soon as it's done, we're going to be shipping it out to everybody. And that's our first long play album. And we spent a long time making it. We used the big synth on it and everything.
That's rad. So, I'd like to know, because I think if you know anything about the Bay Area rave scene in the past 20 years, Dmitri, you've been around in this for a hot minute, and I want to know the story of what happened when you all met, and kind of Slope114 really kind of got the momentum and rocketed out into space.
Shout out to CoFlow. If you don't know about CoFlow, he's a very talented Cody Fiera. Yeah, I was working with Cody at coincidentally a video streaming company. We were an early live video streaming platform before iPhones even came out. We were working with Nokia, and it was in downtown San Francisco. And Cody was my manager, and he was like, "Oh, I made this track, or I did this remix for this girl named Elise." And then I checked it out, and I was like, "Oh," and then I liked it, and then I ended up giving Elise's partner a record shelf, and then we ended up meeting.
Yeah.
And because of DJ Els, that was Elise's partner, I ended up giving her an old record shelf. And then I don't know, we started dating, and then we made first. Elise wouldn't let me put her on video. I was like, we're gonna like get famous, go on Facebook making videos, and she was like, no, I don't want to be on camera. And so we did one video, and that one did okay. And then when I finally convinced her on the next video to be on camera, it went viral. That was our Satya song.
That's rad.
And we didn't have a name yet, but we were just a Dmitri and Elise at that point. But when we started building the synthesizers, that's when we came up with our name Slope114, because the Surge Modular was a synthesizer that they used to build on Haight Street in the 70s. And, once I figured that out, I was like, oh, I got to build that one. I want to have that synthesizer, because I didn't even know about that when I was younger. And
wow.
When I got one and I opened it up, that's what it said inside. It said Slope114 on one of the PC boards.
Huh.
DUSG.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, we'll be that, because I just became obsessed with building these things for about 3 years. And so we were like, we started just making weird music with those things.
Man, can you talk a little bit about that thing that's sitting right behind you, that beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery?
So that's an original 1973 Surge Modular. Like I said, like they used to build them on Haight Street and in Southern California in the early 70s, mid 70s, all through the 80s. By the 90s, they weren't really building them here anymore. And I just felt like, oh, I want to have like a historic, cool synthesizer. I was getting into building synthesizers. My studio was actually burglarized in 2006, and I had to start from scratch. And I got in. I decided I was going to learn how to build them, because like there was no money in making music at that point in 2006, 2007. And so I was like, I don't have any excuse to like own thousands of dollars worth of equipment if I'm not making any money from it. So the only way I can do it is if I actually learn how to build them. So I learned how to build them, and this one I kind of got in trades. Like I started building them for people, and I spent about 5 years building them for people, and I ended up trading my way up to having originals. This one was built in 1978. Sorry.
It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, an amazing machine. So you guys met and you started to collaborate, and at least prior to Slope114, what were you working on? What kind of projects were you working on?
So I got into house music around like 2003 and was hanging out with the Delta Funk crew. I would just sing with DJs randomly at parties, just improvise on lives or on sets. And then I started working with DJ Els in around like 2006, and we would perform. She would DJ and I would sing live, usually improvised. And then I would start releasing original songs with just some local producers. And that's kind of what I was doing right before I met Dmitri, working with different producers here and there, releasing on TrackSource. Els and I did a song on Harlem Music, which was David Harness and Chris Lum's label. like right before I met Dmitri, and I think that was like the last thing I released without Dmitri.
Well, yeah, and
No,
you're
it wasn't. It was Poseidon.
Slope114.
It was Poseidon.
Oh, it was Poseidon. Sorry. Yeah, I released a song, or I wrote a song called Poseidon in like 2009, and then it eventually was released with At Jazz on vinyl in 2013. So that was probably the last one.
So you had a considerable amount of momentum before you guys kind of came together.
Yeah, I guess I was trying.
Yeah, that's
trying to work with different people.
Well, it's so rad that you guys kind of met in the way that you did, and it's sort of like it was like this natural sort of evolution of you guys together up to marriage. Which, congratulations, by the way. It hasn't. You guys are still newlyweds, right?
Yeah, January 14th was
wow.
Probably the last people in 2020 to be able to get married.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I think the chemistry between you guys just kind of speaks for itself, and just like even with your videos, like it's just there's such a good chemistry and a good mix of types of energy that you guys both bring to it, and sort of like there's this really great sort of like technical and organic piece about how you guys do your work that's really cool to watch. Like the energy from it is just cool to vibe on, and just the sounds are stunning, and I think we had brought this up slightly a little bit earlier, but with your past few vinyl releases, you guys have really gone the Kickstarter route and reached directly out to the people that you want to be connected to your music. Can you talk about how that got momentum and how you decided to start releasing vinyl in that way?
So we did our Satya video, and it went viral. A bunch of DJs shared it, like Kink and Roy Davis Jr. and Dario Rosie and different people, pretty famous. And the thing got like thousands and thousands of views. And lots of people wanted to release it, but like nobody was offering us any money. And I kind of wasn't up for the whole little scam of just giving people your tracks for free, like giving labels your tracks for free so they can make money off it instead of you. So we just kind of like said no to every single label for like 4 years. For 4 years, people were starting to get mad at us. They're like, "What's wrong with you? Why don't you just release the track?" and then one night we watched a documentary about like crowdfunding. Like it was, I don't know if it was on YouTube or Netflix or what, but some documentary. And we were like, "Why don't we try to Kickstarter a record?" I figured, if the record can pay for itself, then it can exist. And what I meant by that was if the pre-sales of the record can pay for it to be pressed, then we could have this record made and not lose money, not gamble money on, and it totally worked. It was a great, we met our goal in like less than a week, and we that kicked it off for us, so we decided, to just keep doing that, for a while. And it's cool. It's really cool because it's enabled us to make a profit from our music while everybody else we know just gives their tracks to labels for free, and at the same time, it only allows us to release a certain amount per year because it takes so long to make a record, so there's that limitation. And like I said, only record collectors know about us, and then people that follow our Facebook or whatever, right? So that's why this year is our year to finally branch out into the digital world. But I feel like if we would have went digital first, and not made any money this whole time, then it would just be, it wouldn't be as encouraging. I like the whole encouraging aspect. I like to look at my wife and be like, did we make some money from that? Was it fun? Let's do it again. You know what I mean? But if we release and we're like, hey, did we make any money? No, some label kept it all, or we iTunes has it or something.
Let's not do that one again.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's go to Mexico and hang out on the beach.
If I'm gonna lose $2,000, I'm gonna have some fun with that shit.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so funny, and it's almost consistent with all of my friends that are heads that DJ or make tracks or whatever. It's like you have this commitment period where like, I'm just gonna hemorrhage money doing this thing that I love. It's just gonna happen. And then at some point, hopefully, my love.
I'm tired of seeing it.
Yeah, I know. Same. It's like, but there's just something about it though. Once you get your head in the process of making something, when there was nothing in the universe and you conceived of something and you make it and you manifest it and it comes out and you have it in that form where you can share with other people, that's like the best drug there is, man. Like there's really no, feeling like having your work out in the world in that way. And I'm really glad you guys have just been consistently just, getting in and doing the damn thing. I mean, your resume speaks for itself. I mean, Ministry of Sound, that must have been a good gig. Could you guys talk a little bit about the Ministry of Sound gig that you guys had?
Yeah, that was fun. We've actually played there twice. The first time was 2016. That was super awesome. It was actually my first time even going to Europe or England.
What up, Nikki? What up, Dennis?
What up, Nikki? Yeah, it was a great experience. I forget the name of the room we got to play in. Was it the Baby Box?
No.
I forget.
It's not the
but
Baby Box.
anyway, it was
a
great room. There was lots of people. It was really fun. Everybody was really welcoming. It was really exciting. The second time we played there, it was actually Halloween. So that was really fun. Very interesting crowd. And there was lots of people there that were not from England. It was really cool.
That was
traveled all over the world.
That was off of our Satya video.
Yeah.
And record. It was off the record. I think it was Darius Sarosian played it and mentioned us on his radio show from Ibiza, and I think that's how we got that gig. Then they contacted us and flew us out.
Yeah, Nikki probably saw the video after.
Wow. See, and that's what's so like, I think it's what's so great about you guys is that you're just so focused on sort of the substance of what you do, and these things just kind of, come to you. I think that's amazing. And I think that's how it should be. I mean, I think a lot of people could look at you guys as models for kind of how to retain your integrity, how to do the most right thing, and to still kind of put out like what you put out. It's really, it's awesome.
Thank you. I just say, I say, don't be too cool to promote, like before any of our videos went viral, I shared it like hundreds of times. Like I kicked the reason why they went viral is because I kicked it off, because I was not shy.
Because I was like, artist.
Yeah, I want to promote her, so I'm gonna spam it up.
Spam it up. No, man, I love it. Well, the thing is, you have to hunt for stuff, right? Like it's to kind of see the transition of what's happened since you go to the record store, you would go to your spots or whatever, and then you would have your dude there pulling your stuff for you, right? He already knows you're going to roll through it once every couple of weeks. And my one homegirl at Amoeba used to always pull. She's like, I'll pull from the stacks. I know the labels you like. I know the shit that you like. Lay it aside, and I would listen to what I want. And usually 75% of it was right on point. It was exactly the kind of stuff that I would roll with. And there really is no equivalent of that anymore, right? It's like it's an algorithm kind of telling you, oh, if you like this, you like this, and it's just apples and oranges. It's a radically different experience to, So I look to people like Philip Sherburne, who, another San Francisco dude, who now does a lot of writing for Pitchfork and all the biggies, right? I think he does some stuff for Rolling Stone, but he was like the electronic music dude who wrote a lot for Wired, and he rolled through a few gigs. I remember DJing as well, and he's in Spain now, but he's like one of those people that I go to him to find those sources, but there aren't a lot of those anymore. They're not there. You don't have your people at the record store pulling stuff. Except for Mike B, and you best believe when I'm in the city, when
Vinyl
it's
Dreams.
Yes, Vinyl Dreams. No, I will roll through and I could he knows what I'll dig, and he'll just pull the shit, and I'll just buy the stacks. I don't even have to ask, But it's I use you guys in that way, You know, like the shit that I'm like, when I see you like, I'm like, I'm gonna go see what that is. I'm gonna ferret that shit out, because that's kind of, because there's nothing really the equivalent of that, like going to the record store. And I'm of that generation that saw the transition go from, you know, like $20 CDs to like everybody's ripping your shit for free on Napster to like, you know, where we are today.
Yeah.
And it's a trip. It's I would have never, you know, thought that like any song I can imagine right now, I can just go burp, 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 and it's just on my teleportation device. Like, it just doesn't seem right. I remember I grew up in Oklahoma, and I remember having to drag my ass to Texas to get even like a decent 7-inch punk thing or whatever, you know, like it was an event. You got in the car, you had to stay for a couple of days, you had to hit the dope spots with the record stores and all the spots. It's weird, man. So what's on your radar? You guys have the singles, you got the stuff that's coming out on digital, and for the download for the digital stuff, it's slope114.bandcamp.com. We'll also put some links to the Bandcamp site and to all your stuff when we put the web page up, when we have this archived audio as well. So what's next on the digital front for you guys?
The Aaliyah, so on one of our recent live streams, Elise decided to try an Aaliyah song called Hot Like Fire, and it got a really good response. So we're going to record it this week. I already recorded the beat, and then we're going to release it as soon as possible to TrackSource and Bandcamp.
Excellent.
So you can, if anybody's interested, you can hear it on my profile. It's on there.
Right on, man. So one thing I was going to ask you, and I know this probably comes up most interviews that you have had, and probably know what it's going to be before I even ask it. But like, do you still have the disco ball from the Groove from the Groove poster? Because I think it would be dope for Halloween. You got that disco ball, and you were just you with the disco ball.
I wish. No, I don't have the disco. My brother actually has the vest and glasses still.
That's so dope, dude. It's so funny to kind of rock with heads that have kind of seen the evolution of what's happened in and around San Francisco, from, Garth and Yano and Wicked and the Hard Kiss brothers and all the amazing producers and DJs like DF Tram, who was doing ambient stuff. It was really funny because it's like, it didn't really matter what kind of pocket you were in. You all sort of knew everybody. Mm-hmm. Like all the drum and bass heads knew all the house heads, and the people from Sunset would end up at, DNA Lounge for some shit. Like everybody was, there wasn't a lot of segmentation, which I thought was great about the city. And I think you guys kind of exemplify that, I really do. And I think what you're doing is great. I look forward to all the new digital stuff that's coming out. Look forward to, I'm ready to throw down on a Kickstarter too. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Right,
people are quarantined and need mail, bro. Like that's real talk. So, was there anything else that you guys wanted to share, while we've got you on?
Sure. Just, we just made an Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram.com/slope114.
Excellent.
We're releasing every month to Bandcamp on the first week of every month, because Bandcamp is waiving their fees.
Yeah.
On those days. So those are our release dates. We're live streaming every Saturday night at around 7 or 8 p.m. And until quarantine's over, probably.
Awesome.
And we're going to release, like I said, to Bandcamp and TrackSource every month, probably in the first week of the month. And
also digitally on like Apple Music and Spotify.
Oh yeah, it's going to go out actually to all the streaming services also. Yeah.
So you just hit your favorite search box and you can find your way to Slope114 goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you doing this today. When we do the rebroadcast of this for the podcast, we'll have some tunes in here as well. Thank you guys so much. Be safe during this pandemic, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you,
awesome.
Steven.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Have a great
Talk to you
day.
soon. Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.